Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the most complete spoken English course on YouTube, where you learn English without boring grammar, without textbooks, and without stress. Here, you learn by listening to real-life stories and answering simple questions that will boost your fluency. Today's story is called My Design Collapsed: The Truth. Let's get started. My name is David. I'm an engineer. For the last 6 years, I've worked at a mid-sized construction company in Chicago. I've designed everything from residential homes to small office buildings, and I've always taken pride in my work. I double-check my calculations, I follow safety codes to the letter, and I always believe in doing things the right way, even if it means working late or redoing something from scratch. That's just who I am. But last year, something happened that shook everything I believed in. It was supposed to be a simple project, a pedestrian bridge across a small river in a local park. Nothing fancy, just a clean, modern-looking bridge with metal handrails, wooden planks for walking, and a gentle arch. I was excited when I got the assignment because it was the first time the company had given me full control, from design to supervision. My name would be on every blueprint. My decisions would be final. It felt like a promotion, even though it wasn't official. I remember the day I presented the initial design. Everyone in the meeting room nodded in approval. "Looks great, David," my manager said. "Just make sure the costs stay within budget." That was the only warning. The budget. I worked on that design for weeks. I reviewed wind loads, weight distribution, material strength, stress points, everything. When I finally submitted the final design, I felt confident, maybe even proud. The contractors started construction 2 months later, and I visited the site almost every day, checking every bolt, every weld, every alignment. Then, 3 weeks before the scheduled opening, it happened. It was a Saturday morning. I was off duty, enjoying breakfast with my girlfriend, when I got a call from one of the site supervisors. "David, you need to come to the park right now," he said, his voice shaking. "What's wrong?" I asked. "The bridge. It collapsed." My heart stopped. I didn't even say goodbye to my girlfriend. I just grabbed my coat and ran out the door. When I got to the park, my worst fear had become reality. The entire central portion of the bridge had collapsed into the river. Wooden planks floated on the surface. Metal beams were twisted like spaghetti. A few workers stood around with pale faces. No one was hurt, thank God, but the structure was completely destroyed. The police had already arrived. So had the city inspector. My manager showed up 15 minutes later and gave me a look I'll never forget. A mixture of shock, disappointment, and suspicion. I stood there in silence, just staring at the wreckage. "How is this possible?" I whispered to myself. I had checked everything. I had run simulations. I had followed every guideline. The following week was a blur of meetings, investigations, and sleepless nights. The city demanded answers. The company launched an internal audit. And I started doubting myself in ways I never had before. Did I miss something? Was it my fault? Had I made a mistake that endangered lives? That kind of doubt eats away at your soul. After 3 weeks of investigation, the truth came out, and it wasn't what I expected. One of the contractors had changed the type of bolts used to connect the main support beams. The ones I had specified were high-tension steel, rated for extreme pressure. The ones installed were cheaper, weaker, and not rated for structural use. The contractor made the change to save money, without informing anyone. Not me, not the company, not the inspector. It was a shortcut that nearly caused a tragedy. The company fired the contractor. The city banned him from future public projects. And I was cleared of blame. Everyone apologized. "You did your job, David," my manager said. You can't control what people do behind your back. But here's the thing no one told me. Being cleared doesn't always make you feel better. I couldn't sleep at night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that collapsed bridge. I saw what could have happened if someone had been walking on it. I kept replaying every decision, every step, wondering if I should have done more, inspected more, supervised more, asked more questions. My confidence shattered. A month later, I requested a leave of absence. I told my manager I needed time to clear my head, maybe travel, maybe take some courses. In reality, I just needed space. Space to heal, space to understand what this experience had taught me. It taught me that trust is fragile, that responsibility can be crushing, that even when you do everything right, things can still go horribly wrong. But it also taught me that integrity matters. I never took shortcuts. I never blamed anyone else. And when the truth came out, people remembered that. They respected that. Now, almost a year later, I'm back at work. I'm more cautious now, more thorough. Some might say I'm paranoid. Maybe I am. But I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget what collapsed. Not just the bridge, but a part of me. And I'll never forget what I rebuilt afterward. Not the bridge. Someone else is handling that now. I rebuilt my faith, my standards, my mission as an engineer. Because what we build doesn't just carry weight, it carries people. And that responsibility is never light. Now it's time for your quiz. Let's test how much you understood from the story. Remember, answer out loud. Ready? Let's go. What was David's job? He was an engineer at a construction company. Why was the bridge project special for David? Because it was the first project where he had full control over the design and supervision. What kind of bridge was David designing? A small pedestrian bridge in a local park. What happened to the bridge? The central part of the bridge collapsed into the river. How did David feel when he saw the collapsed bridge? He was shocked, devastated, and full of doubt. What caused the collapse? The contractor used cheap, weak bolts instead of the high-tension ones David had specified. Why did the contractor change the bolts? To save money without telling anyone. Was David responsible for the collapse? No, he was cleared of any blame. What lesson did David learn from the experience? That trust is fragile, responsibility is heavy, and integrity always matters. What did David rebuild in the end? He rebuilt his confidence, standards, and sense of purpose as an engineer. Now let's take a look at some key words and expressions from the story. Mid-sized, not large, not small, but somewhere in between. Example, he works for a mid-sized company in the city. To the letter, to follow something exactly without any mistakes. Example, she followed the recipe to the letter. Wreckage, the broken parts left after something is destroyed. Example, the wreckage of the car was spread all over the road. Audit, an official examination of records or procedures. Example, the company went through an audit after the mistake. Cleared of blame, officially declared not responsible. Example, the driver was cleared of blame after the accident. Shattered, completely broken or emotionally destroyed. Example, her confidence was shattered after the interview. Shortcuts, faster but often riskier or less correct ways of doing something. Example, He took a shortcut and ended up getting lost. Paranoid, constantly worried that something bad is going to happen. Example: after the theft, he became paranoid about locking the door. Faith, strong belief in something or someone. Example: she never lost faith in her dream. Standards, rules or levels of quality one chooses to maintain. Example: he always maintains high standards in his work.